People want to find happiness. They think it's like this ultimate goal, that in order to feel like they did something in their life, that they have to be happy. Now, happiness is cool, but all happiness really is an emotion, a state at which you are. And just like anger, sadness, disgust, excitement, happiness is simply something that comes and goes. You can derive happiness from anything that boosts your dopamine. So you can biologically manipulate it, right? So even if you're doing something bad, you can still feel happy doing that bad thing. So destructive lifestyles or ideologies can give you happiness. But fulfillment is something much more. Fulfillment is about progress and purpose and reaching it. Fulfillment isn't a state where it comes and goes, or at least as much as happiness. It's more so something that builds and gets stronger the more progress you make, right? Fulfillment is that feeling of satisfaction with the things you did or are doing right now. Fulfillment is the goal, not happiness. Happiness was never the goal to begin with. We want to be fulfilled, right? Obviously, we want to be fulfilled and happy. But if you had to pick one, fulfillment is the one you should pick. And with that being said, let's get into it. Section 1. Fulfillment feeds off your purpose and how to feel comfortable pursuing your purpose. So how do you find said purpose? You find it through simply letting go of all distractions you see in the new day and age. We have things like social media and the news that can alter our perspectives and make us lost in what we truly want to pursue. Social media telling you you're a bot for wanting a 9 to 5, or you're brainwashed for going into college, or this and that, and all the noise. Or your parents telling you that you should get a stable income when you want to become an actor or an MMA fighter, something against the norm. Whatever it is, these are merely distractions that distract you from your own purpose. Now, what exactly is purpose? Like when I say purpose, what am I talking about? Well, the basic definition of purpose is what you were put on earth to do, basically. So, for example, a shower was made to clean you, and the stove was made to help you cook, meaning the purpose of the shower was to clean, and the purpose of the stove was to cook. That's why they were made, to help you do those things. Now, I believe everyone has a set purpose. You know when you're doing something and it just feels right when you do it. Like you feel like kind of like childlike when doing that thing. Like all you feel is just happiness and bliss, and you're just in a flow and everything just comes so easy to you. That feeling right there, that feeling is called fulfillment. Some things naturally just give you a sense of fulfillment. And I like to see that feeling and sense of fulfillment as your purpose, the thing you were meant to do on your time on earth as calling you. Now, what if you still have limiting beliefs about that? What if you feel like you're being peer pressured into wanting to like do this thing that your parents or those gurus are basically telling you that they're right, that you should just go down that safe or new option and just not to pursue the things you want to do? Well, I have 5 words for you. 1 must imagine Sisyphus happy. Now, who is Sisyphus? Sisyphus is a story about a man subjected to the underworld after angering the gods. And while in the underworld, he has to push a rock up this huge mountain. And every time he's about to go and reach the top of the mountain, the rock just goes straight back down. Now, Albert Camus used this story as the basis for his philosophy, which is called absurdism. Now, I'm an absurdist, but I'm not trying to like change how you see the world. I'm just saying that absurdism has things that can help you in terms of being fulfilled with your life. Absurdism is the idea that life is harsh and the universe is indifferent, and that ultimately life has no meaning. But it's not like existentialism where you can make your own meaning. It's simply life has no meaning. But absurdism shows us that there's beauty within the indifference of life, and that despite all this, we should keep on living because it has no meaning, right? And this meaninglessness gives us the freedom to do what we want because there's no repercussions for our actions, because in the end, none of it matters. This is why if you imagine Sisyphus happy, it's very powerful, because it means that you have the ability to be fulfilled, because Sisyphus is literally you, a person put somewhere that they didn't ask to be, tasked with doing this seemingly impossible task that in the end ultimately means nothing, right? For Sisyphus, it's rolling that boulder up that hill, right? And for you, it's living life. But imagining Sisyphus happy shows us that despite the meaningless task called life, you can still smile. And you don't find joy in finally getting that boulder up the mountain because you never get it up the mountain. You'll never always be happy, right? You'll never always be fulfilled. You will struggle. So why not struggle with the thing that you want to do? Why not struggle with your boulder and not somebody else's? And you want to know the biggest regret amongst most people, and this isn't how I feel, this is like literally what I know. There's been surveys done on this, and the biggest regret most people have on their deathbed, they wish that they had the courage to live their life true to themselves and not what others expected to them. I'm going to say that again. The biggest regret people had on their deathbed is not living true to themselves and living how others expected them to live. They're pushing other people's boulders, not their own, and that was their biggest regret. So hopefully I don't want you to regret your life. So you need to find something that you want to do, your purpose, the thing that you want to work and strive for and not what others want of you. So have that courage to live true to yourself. And the only way you can know how to live true to yourself is by finding your purpose. So how do you find your purpose? Section 2, how to find your purpose. Everyone has purpose. A baby has a purpose, which is to survive. And the mother of that baby's purpose is basically to protect and nurture it so it can grow up. And when people think of purpose, they think of like a crazy thing. Like I need to lead a revolution or I have to inspire millions. It doesn't have to be something extreme. And to be honest, it's never that big because there's no chosen one. There's no special snowflake, right? There was no like black sheep that was chosen by God himself, blessed with the gift to change the world. Have people done it? Yes, but they didn't do it alone. They could have been the face of the movement, but they weren't the whole movement themselves. Like Martin Luther King is a great example. And I'm going to show you how purpose can be small, but you can do it. Like you can make it into something big. He was like the face of this like segregation movement, the Jim Crow movement, but he wasn't the only important figure in this movement. You had people like Malcolm X and Rosa Parks as well. It was a collective effort, but Martin Luther is simply the face of it because of that iconic I Have a Dream speech, but he isn't the whole movement, right? See, Martin Luther King's purpose was to inspire people. Well, I'm just going to make an educated guess, but I'm just going to say inspire people. And that's why he was so good at talking and getting his point across. His purpose wasn't necessarily to create a whole movement. Rather, this movement was a vessel for him to exercise his purpose. So, like, if you want to teach people and you feel like that's your purpose, there's many vessels you can do it in. You can either be a teacher, like just a straight up school teacher, right? Or you can go and, sell courses or coaching calls or make videos and be a teacher like that. So your purpose is small, but the vessel at which you can exercise this said purpose can be big. So your purpose is very small, and it can be simply protect and provide for your family, or to teach people, or to be a student, or help people, right? Protect the weak, create something. Usually your purpose on earth, the reason why you're put on here, or just something that makes you feel fulfilled, is straight and to the point. So how do you find your purpose? You find your purpose by sitting and being stagnant, kind of like a butterfly, right? Or a caterpillar in their cocoon, and let this thing come to you. Think, and think. Just no distractions, like a Shaolin monk meditating for hours. You're kind of doing the same. You're just meditating in a way that you're just being present in the moment, and that you're just observing your thoughts. There's no 5-step protocol. There's no sexy answer. You're literally just there, just sitting, and just thinking, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? What do I need to do right now? Right? For me, this took like a week, right? Of just constantly thinking and thinking after school, thinking and thinking of what I need to do. And it always was with me, right? I wanted to teach and help people. That's basically the conclusion I came up with, right? And I kind of thought back to like my elementary school days where I'll always be the one like first to finish the work, so the teacher would be like, okay, can you help this student here, right? And teach them that. And I always had like a duty to give back to people if I had it. If I had enough money, I'll give it back. Or if I had the knowledge, I'll give it back. I always had that innate desire to give back to people. And also pair that with like actually helping people and teaching people all throughout my like school career through elementary to middle to high school, I was always teaching and helping people that needed it, right? So I basically just came up with that conclusion that, okay, I want to teach and help people. This is something that I feel fulfilled with. This is something that's calling me. But how am I going to do it? These videos right here. I'm going to teach people how to basically skip steps in their basically journey to achieving their goals, right, with the knowledge that I currently have now. And that's basically what I came up with from Monday when I started to next Monday, right? This took a week of just constantly thinking. After school, I'll go to school, then after school, I literally sit and think for like 4 or 5 hours, eat, then sleep. Do that over and over and over again until Monday hit, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Simply shut everything off and stay present and think and ask yourself, what is my purpose right now? And do that for a week, 2 weeks, a month, until a thought pops up in your mind and you get like this sense of like certainty, like this is what I have to do. Then you go and progress in that thing. Now, you can do this whenever you have free time. I'm not telling you to wake up and stare at the ceiling for 16 hours, then go to sleep. Be a human, live how you normally do. Go to school, hang out with your friends. But when you don't have anything to do, when you have free time, when there's nothing to do, right? Don't immediately go straight into stimulation, right? Don't immediately go into reels and scroll or this and that. Leave these blocks or specks of free time for you to just sit in silence and think about what is it that you want to do. Now, in a way of the superior man, it talks about how purpose has layers, and that these layers essentially are parts of a whole, which is your deep mission, and that these layers essentially bring you towards this deeper mission or purpose. So, for example, let's say the first deep mission or purpose is to help people. Maybe first you help yourself, so your purpose layer is to work out, then maybe you create a certain product and start a business. Then it's to grow the business, then maybe it's to start another business. So you see how these layers will guide you towards vessels at which you can exercise your deep purpose. And again, people can have the same purpose, just different ways of expressing them. So basically during this time, you'll discover a purpose layer. Let's say in a year, right, you peel that off. You'll feel kind of lost again, how you feel right now. So you do this process again of trying to find your second layer, right? You just keep on thinking. And then you see something clicks, and then you do that second layer, then you peel that off, and that process repeats and repeats for like your whole life, right? You're like likely never going to reach your core purpose, but remember, one must imagine Sisyphus happy, and you should find joy in most likely never reaching your core purpose, right? Because honestly, if you don't have a purpose, there's no reason to live, basically. There's no purpose for you to live, right? If you don't have something that you can work on and work towards every single day with conviction and feel fulfillment doing it, then there's no reason to live, and
you should kill yourself.
That was harsh, but you get what I'm trying to say. Section 3, your purpose over everything. As a man, your purpose is the most important thing to you. I know this sounds awful, but it's not family or friends. The single most important thing to you is your purpose, the thing you were put on this earth, the thing that gives you fulfillment, that you're willing to work towards for the rest of your life. Now, your purpose layer can be like make a family or make friends, yeah, but if it isn't, you shouldn't be worried about that. Now, if your mom is dying of cancer, obviously you should spend time with her, but I'm talking day to day. If it doesn't align with your purpose, it isn't worth your time. So if your purpose isn't calling you to create romantic relationships, don't get a girlfriend. If your purpose isn't calling you to build a business, don't build a business. If it isn't calling you to be a father, don't become one. For the love of God, don't become one. Wrap up at least. Your purpose layer should dictate your decisions. So if your friends want to go somewhere and you genuinely want to hang out with them, but you're in a period where you're focused on your purpose and you need to progress in it, you have to sacrifice those fun times with them. Because let me tell you, when you have a clear purpose and goals and you're trying to make progress in them, you're just starting to make some progress in them. Like you're starting to be like, oh, I'm seeing it now, right? And you'll be like, okay, I want to hang out with them. When you're actually hanging out with them, it doesn't even feel that good, because it's kind of like you have something in the back of your mind telling you that you should rather be doing this instead, that you should be doing this instead of that. And that thing in the back of your mind is your purpose calling you, right? So I know sometimes like the FOMO is going to get to you, but trust me, It's not even going to feel good when you're hanging out with them, especially if you have a clear-cut purpose, and especially if you're making progress in that clear-cut purpose, right? It just doesn't feel as fun anymore because you have like this purpose trying to pull you back in, right? That actual calling that actually gets you fulfillment, right? I'm not saying that friends don't give you fulfillment. I'm saying that this purpose gives you more fulfillment, right? And when you're doing something other than that, right, especially when you know you have things to do on your to-do list, especially when you know that you haven't been working as hard as you should, especially when you know that you're on a right trajectory, that thing will pull you back in. And those times where you're with your friends, you always have something in the back of your mind that kind of ruins the fun of you being with your friends. If it's to be physically fit, simply focus on that and nothing else. If it's to go and create a product, simply focus on that and nothing else. But when you do achieve this purpose layer, you're going to feel kind of uncertain and lost again, right? How you feel now, right? Now, this is where I believe you can hang out with your friends and go and party with them because you're lost. And that's not a bad thing. But once you complete this purpose layer and you're in that state of being lost in what to do, and you can hang out and have fun with your friends and go to the club and have like fun, because even though you're lost, you'll actually have fun because you don't have a purpose to work on. But remember, don't stay in this state for too long, because remember, happiness is only a state, right? Being fun is only a state, so that happiness will fade away because you have no purpose to work towards, right? Fulfillment is the thing that stays, not happiness, right? So you can have fun with them. I put fun in air quotes because I'm not gonna lie, I don't find the clubs and all that stuff fun. But like hanging out with friends can be fun, chilling with them can be fun. So once you had your fun, right, and once you had your happiness, right, eventually that happiness is gonna fade, and eventually you're gonna feel like genuinely lost, and you're gonna feel bad that you're lost. So this is the time where you repeat that process of thinking about, what should I do now? What's my next purpose layer? And then when you find something that clicks, you work on that until it's finished, right? So nothing else but that again and again, and you do that again and again and again and again throughout your life. I like to see it as a ratio of like 7-1. So for every 7 days, months, years that you've been working towards a purpose, you can have 1 day, 1 month, 1 year of this period of fun, or at the very least, that this period of fun would actually feel like fun, and it wouldn't feel like you're just trying to run away from something, or it's just like kind of numbing. I just want to add that I have free one-on-one coaching calls for young men lost in their journey of self-improvement that basically want to improve themselves, but they're kind of like uncertain in a way. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that uncertainty, and I'm going to finally make you accelerate and achieve those goals that you always wanted to. And it's in the link in the description if you're interested, and it's also free again. So if you're interested, again, links in the description, and it's free. But anyways, that's all I have for you today. I wish you luck on your journey, and peace.